Yep. Good morning, everyone. So, last session I given overview on how do we work with body section, right? So, to use the body section more effectively, making it more SEO friendly, search engine friendly, and user friendly. Yeah, wait 1 second. We will start. Let's start. So, yesterday we discussed about body section in HTML. How do we design the body section? For that, we have to use the tag body, and we learned about some attributes and new elements in body section. New elements in body section from HTML5 onwards. I given a list of few important elements which are used to make the page more search engine friendly. So what are those new elements? I given a list. We have aside, we have article, we have header, so footer, section, we have a main, we have so div and span, we have right, we have navigation, we have dialogue, so we have figure, we have figure, caption, and we have menu, right? All these are important in the body. Body section contains lot of contents. We are learning about how to design a good layout. For that, what are the elements required? We discussed the purpose of them. An overview I given already. Aside is used to keep the content which is not related to our website. Usually we do that for ads. Any highlights about a website we keep in article. Top margin, header, bottom margin, footer. Between header and footer, section. Entry point, main. And blocked content, div. Inline content, spans. Navigation area, nav. Pop-ups, dialogues. Images with caption, figure and figure caption. If navigation have lot of items, then you keep in a menu. These are the options we have to see now, how to design and work with them. We will take one simple layout actually. See, generally, when we are designing a website, in order to make it more search engine friendly and user friendly, we have to design the content in a organized way. And for that, we need all this. Let's see here. This is our general page. That is our page. And in this page, what you want to keep at the top, this area, we can configure this and we can call this as, this is header. Header. Header, what you want to display at top margin and what you want to display at the bottom margin. Usually we call this as a footer. Footer. That is footer. Between header and footer section, whatever content is between header and footer, you have to keep this in section. Anything you want to display, this is section. And usually we can have navigation. Sometimes in websites, we put a navigation left side. Sometimes in websites, we put navigation in the header area, top. Here also you can keep a navigation. Depends on your requirement. Sometimes you will have navigation in both locations. And inside navigation, if there are many options to display, then we use a menu. So inside the navigation, you can maintain a menu. Now, if you want to show some advertisements which are not related to your website, then you can put in a container. Anywhere you can keep. I'm just keeping reasonably right side. Anywhere you can keep, it doesn't matter. So that means we are keeping some aside. Aside is nothing but ads. So suppose there can be multiple asides. It's not that there should be only one. There can be multiple asides also. But usually we will keep one aside. In that we will keep all our contents, advertisements. Any highlights about your website, you can put in an article. You can keep these articles anywhere. Entry point is defined by using what? Inside the section, if you want to define the entry point, then you can configure that by using main. If you want to put some pictures and some captions, then what you can do? We can use a figure. So usually figure contains some pictures inside, and the figure can have a caption. So that means we can use a figure caption. If you want any pop-ups to design, for example, some help or something, so we will keep it in a dialogues. Just like chart yesterday, I showed you a few things. So if you want to keep the content blocked, that means one below another, like this you want to keep the content. I will detailedly explain what is that. This kind of contents usually we keep in a div. What is div, how it works, we will discuss, we will see all of that. So, and if you want to keep any content side by side, so then usually you can keep an option by using a span. Divs and spans, I will tell you, we will detailedly discuss about. We will see all of these, how to use them. Usually, this is the professional screen designs. That means a body section of a website comprises of various concepts depending on the requirement. It's not necessary that every website must have all these. Depends on requirement. Some websites don't have ads, some websites don't have dialogues, some websites don't have any other navigations and all. Depends on the requirement, right? Now, we will see how to use them. And another point I told you already clearly yesterday, that designing these with a good appearance requires a lot of CSS. Only HTML cannot do anything completely. We have to use a lot of CSS, lot of styles. So learning styles actually people do after learning about HTML. But in our session, we will simultaneously start. While learning HTML, we will start using styles little bit. So any doubts that you get related to styles, how to achieve this, achieve that, those don't worry. Later, once you learn styles, you will understand. As of now, you just need to concentrate and practice what I showed you in class. Only those you try. Other doubts, lot of doubts will come. So you keep them aside, because you will able to achieve that after learning CSS completely. So by the end of HTML, if you can simultaneously start using CSS also, you can create good designs. That we will do from now. So how to handle, we will see. Let's see today, we will see how to design headers and footers. We will see how to design header and footer for websites, how we can give a good appearance for them, how to achieve a real world environment like appearance. Let's see. We will take one real world example. Suppose we will take Amazon. This is Amazon. This is Amazon official shopping site. Let's go to Amazon bottom. This is called Amazon footer. This is Amazon footer. And I want to achieve this footer. I want to design something like this footer. Footer is this one. We want to achieve something like this. Amazon or any shopping site, like suppose we have Flipkart. Flipkart. This is Flipkart. And this is Flipkart website, and scroll down. This is the Flipkart footer. Let's do this. Let's try Flipkart. Amazon looks simple. This looks complex. If you can design Amazon, is very easy. Any footer, we will see how to design that, how to create and use it. Now, as of now, our target is designing only this area. Understood? So later you will see how to put these type of symbols, icons and all. We will see that. Today we will try to achieve this area. So we will try to achieve this part. And we will try to design that, right? Let's see how we can do it. So for that, let's go to our project. In our project, as I told you already, our project starts with index page. Every day, you no need to practice on only one page. For every example, you can add a new page and try, so that you can keep all your examples in different pages. Finally, we can create one page from where we can access all others, right? So every day, for every example, create one page. You do that in public folder. So index is outside, and in public, we have to add one file. Let's add a new HTML page. In public folder, I am adding some like Flipkart footer dot HTML. I'm giving the name Flipkart footer HTML. Let's create the basic design. Actually, when you are using Visual Studio Code, in Visual Studio Code, we have a simple technique. We can write completely. So we have templates, ready-made templates are present. To make designing easy and fast, we can use those templates. So by using simple shortcuts. In Visual Studio Code, once you created a HTML page, put an exclamation mark and press Tab key. press tab key, then automatically page design will come. And in that, almost everything we learned is there. One extra is there, HTTP equi, which is using UA compatible. And HTTP equi, we have seen refresh. We have seen refresh meta. Rest of design is ready. So you can do this in a short way, easy, right? If you are unable to get this template, sometimes this template generation depends on settings. If your settings are disabled, it will not work. So what you have to do, you put an exclamation. If it is not working, what you do is, that means the template is not working. You go to your file menu of Visual Studio Code. In that you will find preferences. Preferences are settings. In that, open the settings tab. You will find a settings. This is the settings. Settings of Visual Studio Code. In the settings, you type here emmet. Emmet. You have to type here emmet. This is emmet. Emmet is a option provided in Visual Studio Code. This emmet is used for generating these templates, right? You have to make sure that you selected this emmet. In the emmet, usually you will have options. So here so many options will be there. Now you have to select this option. Make sure that you selected this option. Trigger expansion on tab. Sometimes this is not selected. You have to make sure that it is selected. Trigger expansion on tab. If you select this, then automatically it will expand and generate the templates. Almost in every Visual Studio Code, by default it works. If by any case it is not working, then you go to settings, search for emmet. So how do we enable that? I will just give you a point here. So you have to go to file menu. In the file menu, you have preferences. In that we have settings, and here you have to search for emmet. Search for this emmet and check. Here you have to select check. What to check? So there is one option, right? Settings. Yeah. In that emmet, you have to select for this option, that is show trigger expansion on tab. Make sure that you selected this one. Trigger expansion on tab. You have to check this. You have to select that. So if it is not working, don't worry. You can write simple HTML code. This is only for template, right? Only for template. Don't look for shortcuts every time. Get a habit of writing. Shortcuts is good once you are good in technology. Then you can use shortcuts, right? As of now, here, to save our class time, I am using this shortcut. So here this is that. Now it is ready. Now all we discussed. Here title I will change. What is the title? I will give as Flipkart footer. I will use Flipkart footer. Now in this, I am not designing any header, body, anything else. In the body directly, I will keep a footer. Currently, we are not designing any header section. Our concentration is to only design footer. So we will directly put footer. Later we can add other things inside it, right? We will put a footer. Okay, good. After footer, you see the site here. In the footer, how many columns content is there? So 6 columns content is there in the footer. In the footer, we have 6 columns content. So, and I hope you have observed that actually we have 2 major columns. In that, one column is 4 divided, another column is 2 divided. I hope you concentrated on that. That means on the whole, how many is not the important. right? You need to observe the design, how it is configured, right? That means, am I right? Because there is some separation here, some separation here. That means primarily how many columns are there in footer? 2. In left column, we have again divisions 4, and right column we have divisions 2. Okay. Now how to design this? How to create such content? Let's see. Actually, first point here, when you are designing a web page, these all diagrams I will upload into Classroom. Okay. This is layout. Okay. Next here, see, we need to keep contents in a column format. By default, it is not possible. We have to use some styles and apply. By using styles, we have to apply. So what concept is, see, I will tell you how we design content in a page. Suppose we have a topic called web development. In this, we have a topic HTML. So it is a markup language. So here we have some JavaScript or CSS. It defines styles. Like this, we have some content. Now, very important is here, we have another topic. Suppose cloud technologies. Okay. In this cloud technologies, I will keep this font size little. Okay. In the cloud technologies, I have some Azure, so, and AWS, something like this, some Azure cloud, and this is some AWS cloud, something just roughly some content is there. Now, as a web developer, how to organize this content properly in a page? Lot of concepts are there. I will tell you. Actually, how many main topics are there here? How many main topics are there? 2 main topics are there, right? Now, this is actually, this is one container which contains all topics. Understood? This is the container which contains all the topics. This is considered as one div. That is considered as one div. That means it's a division. So this is one division. Okay. In that, how many subdivisions are there? 2 subdivisions are there. Then we keep this as one division, and we keep this as another division. 2 subdivisions are there. That means these 2 topics are separate. Then we have to separate them. Then we do that by using div. That means now this is one div and this is another div. 2 divs are there. That means this is the parent one. That is the parent one, and this is one division. This is one div and this is another div. Now in that, again, HTML is one division. Understood? And CSS is another division. This is another topic. 2 different topics are there. This is another subdivisions. So these are again configured as divs. These are again configured as div. This is a div and this is also a div. So we don't unnecessarily use divisions. We don't unnecessarily use divisions. For example, can I use a division now? Can I use a division for HTML one division and mark up another division? It's not good. Why? Because these both are related to each other. So keep in one division. I hope you understood that, right? That means keeping div is all about keeping your content as chunks of content. So and a chunk contains related information, and it contains several subdivisions inside. Similarly, again, cloud technologies, Azure is having one division and AWS is having another division. That's how we create the divisions. Usually divs are used for this kind of content. Blocked content. Divs are used for blocked contents. Blocked contents means so related content. So you can keep some related content in a block. That is what actually we call as divs, divisions. Okay. Now that is clean. That means there can be so much nested hierarchy, right? So we have a parent in that child, in that again child. We have to design like this. Suppose now I am typing something here. I am typing here, welcome to HTML. So it is a markup language. Some sentence I am typing. So markup language, we use HTML for designing. So presentation, something like this. I defined something. Some sentence I written. In this, what I want to do is, I want this markup language to have some detailed definition. That means it should have some detailed definition. I want to make it clickable. When user clicks, the detailed summary about that topic will come. What is markup language means, everything. That means now, remember, in this sentence, this markup language word need to highlight. Then now, that means it is appearance is different from others because we need to highlight it. Then what happened is here, if I keep this markup language in a div, understood? What does this means? If you keep that in a div, that means it says that it is not a part of this sentence. It separates. Why I kept in a div? Because I want to highlight it. I can highlight that division, but division is not good here. Why? It separates the word from our sentence. So keep the word in the sentence and highlight and make in such a way that it is having some separate definition. How to keep inside the content and separate? If you use division, it is separated from it. Then how to keep inside and separate? For that, you have to use a span. You have to use a span. For that, you have to use a span. You have to put this in a span. What is the meaning of span? Span means, so span actually means along with the content. Span means along with the content. Along with the content, continue. But we need to highlight. If I want to highlight, separate. Separate means visually separate, but not technically separate. Visually separate, not technically separate means better you go with the span. If you use div, technically separate, it thinks that it is a separate part, not related to this. That is the reason actually you can see here. Suppose, let me write that here. First, before this, I will put this in a clean way. Welcome to HTML. It is a markup language. So markup language. So let's put markup language. It is used for designing web page. Something like this. Now, this is run this page. It looks like this now. I want to highlight this word. To highlight this word, I will put this in a division, div. Then it thinks that it is not a part of this sentence. Then obviously you can see it separates. It separates. It automatically comes to next line. So by seeing this, generally people think that div means comes in next line. Not like that. Div is technically used for separating our content from an existing content. Technically, right? That is what SEO friendly, because div also you can keep side by side. By using CSS, you can change its location. Many times you will see on websites or some YouTube channels, they will tell div will come line by line, span will come side by side. That's not true, correct. Because div also can be kept side by side. Span also can be kept one below another. It is not about where you are keeping the content. It is about how you are separating your content. So if technically you want to separate your content, then use divs. You want to keep the content along with the existing and highlight, then better what you do? Span. That means you use a span. Now what happens? Span will keep along with the content. Along with the content. But later what I can do, I can apply some effects on this. How to apply effects, I will tell you. That means by using those effects, I can highlight. That means, suppose later I will give, we can put a style for this, and I will put here background colors, some yellow like this, just roughly I'm showing you. You can highlight like this. Keep inside and highlight. Don't separate. So that is the only difference between div and span. Div is used for displaying the content, displaying the relative content in a block. It separates one content with another. If you want to keep the content in line, then you better go with the span. It is not about displaying line below line or side by side. It is about technical presentation. Is your content related or is your content separated? In many interviews, almost all interviews for freshers in UI technologies, this question is very common. What is difference between div and span? 100%. Every interview you can get prepared with this. Div and span. A question is asked, what is difference between div and span? Sometimes when you answer this, what I told you, sometimes in interviews, they still ask you, is this only the difference? Is there anything else? There is nothing else other than this. This is only the difference. Right? If anybody is still forcing you that no, so much is there about div and span, nothing is there. People who developed HTML, who maintains what WG? What they say about div and span, I just delivered to you. Understood? Now other website, YouTube channel, what they do, we don't care. What the people who developed HTML tell about div and span, that definition I delivered to you. Understood? Now we don't care about somebody asked that so much is there about div, so much is there. Those are all rubbish. We don't consider that. Because people who developed HTML, their definition is this. So that's enough. Right? So can you keep divs side by side? Yes. Can you keep span one below another? Yes. Is it about presenting one by one or side by side? No, it is not about that. It is technically separating the content. For whom you are telling this? For whom you are telling this? SEO, I told you, na? We are doing this for whom? This is for SEO. So that search engines can understand that this is a part of this topic only. But it is highlighted. Search engines can understand that this is not a part of this topic because they are using a divisions, right? That is important. So this is about div and span diagram. This also I will upload. Into Google Classroom I will upload. Anyone don't have the Google Classroom, I will give the classroom code now. Right? Later at the end of the session I will give. You can get all these notes there. Right? Previous people have now already. Right? We are continuing there. So once we finish, mostly by tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will create a new link of Google Classroom. There we will upload all the classroom notes. There we will enable comments and everything. You can post your queries there. Any doubts, anything, we can create one group for our class. So our examples, classroom notes, everything will be uploaded there. Okay, right. And let's see how we can create now. Okay, is it clear, everybody? What is div and span? Right, what is div and span? You are clear. I hope now you can tell how do I divide this now. I hope now you can tell how do I divide this now. Right, now how do I divide this? Let me take a screenshot. So how do I divide this now? Let's see. Let's plan this in a presentation. Huh? Right. Okay. I will keep this in our MS Paint. Yeah. Now, here, let's see. First thing, can I make this as one div? Am I right? This is a div. That is one division outside, right? But I am not using a div because already for this, I have a separate element called a footer. Am I right? I have a separate element called footer. So this is a footer. Footer is a container again, same like div and span. What footer indicates? The content to display at the bottom margin of page. So this is a footer. Okay, good. Now in this, how many main divisions are there? How many main divisions are there? 2. So this is one division and this is another division. Am I right? Yes, good. Right. Now in this, how many divisions are there left side? So 4 divisions are there. So that means these are 4 divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 divisions. Am I right? Right. These are the 4 divisions. These are all the 4 divisions. And very important here, all these 4 divisions. Now, in this, how many divisions? Right side. 2 divisions are there. Right side, we have these 2 divisions. This is the current layout. But unfortunately, all your divisions will display one below another. All divisions will display one below another. We need to organize them. Now, what do you say inside the division? Inside this division, this is heading. And under this heading, these are all the topics. As of now, we haven't learned how to present a list. We haven't learned how to present a list. In HTML, there are options for presenting list. By using that, easily you can present list. Later we will learn. Because as we haven't learned list, I will use a divs again for all of them. But professional, it is not good because we haven't learned about further options. Currently, we will depend on only divs. What I will do now, this about I will keep in one div. Understood? And all others I will keep in separate divs. Actually, all these I have to keep as one list. How to create such list later we will see. That is later in text appearances we will understand. As of now, we will concentrate everything with only div. But as I already told you, div is not good for inner content. Div is okay for outer content. For inner content, we have to use a list. Later we will manage the list. As of now, we will just keep it like this. Now see, we will design everything by using divs. Let's create this now. So I will go to the body section. In that we are designing a footer. Okay. In the footer, how many divisions you need? 2. This is one div and this is another div. Am I right? 2 divisions we need. In left division, how many columns you need? 4. That means again, how many subdivisions? 4 subdivisions we need. I will keep 4 subdivisions here, 3 and 4. Okay. Now right side again, how many divisions inside? 2 divisions inside. We are creating the 2 divisions inside. Fine. You will not see anything here because it's All these are containers, empty. Nothing is there, right? That means when you open your page, you will not see anything there. That is empty. Nothing is there. We haven't designed any content there. Okay, let's put some content now. Let's go to this first column. This is first column. Huh? Okay. So what we will do is, as per our design, it is about help, policy and social. Policy and social. So how many here? This is div. I will keep again a div. What is it? About. Another one I will keep a div. This is what we have. Help, help, policy and social. Okay. Help. Another div. Policy and social. Another div. Social. Like this we are keeping. That is the title actually. Currently we don't know headings, we don't know list, anything. That is the reason we are completely depending on only divs by using divs. Actually, entire website, you can see any website is designed with complete divs and spans. Earlier in HTML, older versions, actually in old version of HTML, before HTML5, currently we are using HTML5. In HTML5, the divs are introduced. Earlier we don't have. Then up to HTML4 version, we have to design entire website in table. By using tables, we have to design. Tables have lot of technical issues. That is the reason to overcome those issues, we started using these divs. Actually, what is the issue is, table leads to a situation called kiss of death. Tables lead to a situation called kiss of death. These are technical words. Blue death screen, yellow death screen, kiss of death. All these are computer technical terms, right? Kiss of death means we are not sure when which content will load. That situation is called as kiss of death. Kiss of death, deadlock, so many will be there in computer technology. These are official technical words. I hope, I don't know from how many years you are using internet, almost 7-8 years back, when we used to open websites, you might have observed when I open a website, empty blank screen will be there. Suddenly, bottom some photo opens, right? Left side some opens. There is no order in loading. Top not loaded, bottom some photo is coming. Have you observed that? Have you experienced that? That is kiss of death. That means I don't know where which one will load. I don't know when it will come. So that is the problem in previous designs. Tables leads to a situation called kiss of death. To overcome that, they have introduced this divs and spans. What is advantage and new elements? What is advantage? They load content in an order, sequential order. That is the reason these days, majority of websites, you will see content loading in order, top to bottom, good order. Earlier, we don't have like that. Earlier, content used to load random. We are not sure where which content will come. These days, every website is designed with div and span only. For example, you see official, this Flipkart inspect. Right click on the inspect. When you right click and inspect, you see all are divs only. And observe, this is the footer we are using, am I right? This is their website. In that everything divs. All are divs only. Entire page is designed with divs. It is completely designed with divs. Div inside div, div inside div. Everything is configured by using these divs on. So this is official Flipkart. Now let's create this now and design this here. This is the option. This is available here. This is the original size actually. And we have these 4 columns. Okay, what about the next 2 columns? Let's go to the shopping. and mail us registered office address. So two options more are there. Here we have to keep one div. What is it? Mail us, and another one is official office address. Yes, registered office address. I will keep that here. Registered office address. That's what we are giving. Okay. Now you can observe here all the contents are one below another. All the contents are one below another. Everything is one below another. That's what I said already. HTML cannot present everything how you want. HTML is just presentation. You have to make the presentation effective. For that, compulsory you need CSS styles. By using CSS only, you can make the presentation effective. Without CSS also, you can have a web page, but you cannot achieve what you are looking for. It's just like you are watching some actor without makeup, right? Simply like that. Without makeup also they can. So without CSS also there can be a HTML page, but not satisfying, right? That means you cannot achieve what you are looking for actually. So you need to make up, and for that you need some CSS now. Let's see how to use little bit of CSS. Let's see here. Go to the head section. In the head section, we will write all the styles in a separate tag called style. Put a style tag in the head section. Already we learned that head section contains link, meta, title, style, and script. Style is used to keep some CSS. Just do what I am discussing in the class. That's it. Don't worry about other things in CSS, right? Just concentrate on what I discussed today in class and stop there, right? Don't think anything outside this, because you will do that later when we finally finish HTML and everything. So we are writing some styles. I am currently writing a style. In that, for footer, I want to give some effects. Then we are writing here footer. We are writing footer. For footer, what effects you want? You have to write the effects in a curly brace. That means this is a block. That means a set of effects can be defined for footer. A set of effects can be defined in a footer. Okay. What effects you want for footer? I want footer to divide the contents into columns. Dividing content into columns, we call this as grid. That means actually this is a grid. This is officially called as grid. Usually we call this as grid. This is not table, we call grid. Grid contains rows and columns. Usually a grid contains rows and columns. So this is officially a grid. So I need to display this as grid. I need to display entire footer as a grid. So simple, what you do is you have to write display colon grid. Display colon grid. That means you are trying to present this footer in which display style? Grid style. There are so many display styles, flexible style, grid style, table style, so many. We want currently grid. Okay. How many columns grid? How many columns grid? Remember, our main footer have how many columns? 2 columns now. Footer contains how many columns grid? 2 columns grid. As I told you one more point, if you remembered, we are displaying footer as what? Grid, big grid. How many columns you want for grid? We have to use an option grid template columns. we have to use an option called grid template columns. Grid template columns will indicate how many columns you want. Grid template columns. As I told you, what is the maximum size of page? Yesterday we learned. How much page width can be maximum? 1200 pixels. Height how much? 768 pixels. So you have to share all columns in 1200 pixels only. You have to share all the columns in 1200 pixels. That means how many columns we want in the header? 2 columns. Then how much pixels every column can be? How many pixels every column can be? 600 pixels one column, 600 pixels another column. Understood? So if you are feeling difficulty in pixels, because pixel is not good. Why pixel is not good? Because pixel means fixed. 600 means 600. Suppose my screen width came to mobile. Mobile completely is 500 only. In that 600, how it can happen? So the size should adjust according to browser. So better, instead of using pixel, use 6 fractions FR. 6 fractions means 6 portions of browser. And if you are adjusting browser, this portions also will adjust. That is good. I told you responsive design. We turn orientation, landscape, portrait, it should adjust according. Already I showed you mobile simulator, right? That means now it should adjust according to browser. Then better use fractions. So how many fractions of columns you can give? Maximum how many fractions you can give? 12 fractions. In that we need currently 2 columns. Then how many fractions you have to divide? 6 fractions, another one, 6 fractions. So here we will go and we will say footer will display grid template columns. One is 6 fractions, another one is 6 fractions, 6 and 6 fractions. Then you can see that. So here 6 fractions, 6 fractions space. So when you give that 6 fractions and 6 fractions, it will divide like this. Understood? Divided successfully. That means now we have 2 fractions now. And what is advantage of this fraction is it will adjust according to your device. Let me take to the mobile simulator as I showed you yesterday. Chrome. In Chrome, you can download a plugin as I told you. Which plugin? Mobile simulator. Mobile simulator. So I will open this. And this is the page. And let's open the mobile simulator. This is the mobile simulator. And this is your screen adjusted according to mobile. Right? I am turning this now, orientation, it fits according to the mobile. The space is adjusted correctly according to the screen width. If I give 600 pixels, then if I go to another device, then it will not fit to that device. Because you said 600, it will fix to 600. Fractions means it will adjust according to the device. Okay, this is done. Now another point here, is that footer must need a background color. I will write an attribute, background color. I will use some slate, that is the background color, slate gray. I told you colors, you can write the color name or color code. You can go to color mixer, mix the code, and you can put that one. That is background color. What is the text color? Text color you have to apply with color. Color is what? White. Now you can see that the footer will have like this. I will do one thing. Instead of that, we will put black. Okay, initially just I will keep black, just like how they have already. Observe very carefully here. Yesterday I told you one point. There is no space between content and border. What it is called as? Space between content and border. Space between border and page is margin. Space between content and border is padding. Yesterday I told you, na, right? Padding is space around the content. There is no space. Let's put some space around the content. So we will put what? Padding. How many pixels? Suppose 20 pixel padding. 20 pixels padding. Now you can see its appearance is like this. Some space around it. Now I will keep here. I will keep here. So 10 pixel padding. That is okay. Fine. So we have some space around that. We have some space. Okay. This is okay. Now inside left column, again I need 4 divisions. Am I right? Now see here how to access this left column. This is left column now. How to access this left column? I cannot write like this div. Understood? It will apply to all divs because so many divs are there. Then if any element is repeating and it is being used in so many locations, then better, in order to access any specific element, especially in CSS, you give a name, class name. You give a class name for element. Remember, element can have IDs, classes, so many things. As of now, just use 2 things. One, use element name. Another one, element class name. What is the class name? This is left panel. Don't use spaces in class names. You use hyphens or continuous word. Use a continuous word or hyphen. Okay. This is left panel. That is one class. What about the second one? This is the second one. We will put a class. What is it? Right panel. Okay. Now I want to apply effect for the right panel and left panel. Now let's go. If you are directly writing for element, write directly element name. If you are writing for classes, classes are accessed by using dot. Dot class name. What is the class name? Left panel. Okay. For this, what you want? Again, I need to divide into 4 columns. Can you tell how? Display. Display what? Grid. Inside that again grid now. How many columns? Grid template columns. How many columns? 4. And already it is 6 na? Am I right? It is 6 divided now already in 12. That means how many columns I have to give here? In 6, 4 columns means how many? 1.5, 1.5 I can give na? Not like that. Not required like that. Once a column is divided, that column can behave as individual page size. That column can behave as individual page size if you are giving fractions. So you actually we can give divisions, or you can simply give in that how many columns we want? 4 columns we want. In 6 I have to divide 4. Then usually what we do? I can give 1.5 fraction, right? So another one is 1.5 fraction. This is how much? 2. 3 na? 1.5 fraction. Again another one, 1.5 fraction. You can give. Out of 6 we are dividing na? Understood? Right. That means you can see it divides like this. Right? The fractions. How many fractions we want? About, help, policy, social. Now I hope you can do for the right panel now. What it is? Right panel. What is the right panel now? Display. Display is what? Grid. What it is? Grid template columns. How many fractions? 3 fractions, another one 3 fractions. Now it is divided like this. Now it is good. How to put lines and all I will tell you, right? First we divided into columns, and under that about, help, policy, social, we want some list. Actually in HTML we will later learn how to prepare lists and all. As of now, just what I will do is, here I will use divs inside it. Okay, I will just use divs, but this is separate now. Then what we will do is, for this I will put a class called title, because all titles should appear different. Bold, thicker, I want appears different. So I will keep title. Same class we can use title for help. Another class, what is it? Title. All are using same class. That means if you apply title, it will apply for all of the 4. You apply for title, it will apply for all the 4. Now under this, we want again divisions. Understood? Divisions. Now in this division, you can put all this content they have. What is it? Contact us, about us, careers. Let me copy this here. Just temporarily, I am copying that and keeping it here. So let's keep all of them individually first. Like this I define. Actually what we have to do, everything we will keep in a div. Contact us, and another div, about us. Actually we should not use divs, huh? We should use list. Later we will learn about list. As of now I will keep this. So that means as of now I am just using these divs. So everyone is kept in a div. Everyone is kept in a div. I am writing all these divs inside it. Now you can see under about, all these are present here. Under about, all these are present. We are configuring all that under about. Now what we have to do, we have to highlight about. We need to keep some space between all of these. Then what do you do? Simple. Let's go here. In the similarly like this, I just use it the same. I will copy. Like this I will copy, and I will put under everyone. Okay. You see that website and you put relative content. Okay, na? I am just saving the time. I am just keeping those content which are already available, right? You put different content. That means now you can see all the contents are like this now. Right? Now what we have to do, we have to highlight the first one. Then the first one we written as title, right? Dot what? Title. I want it thicker. Then I will use font weight. Font weight bold. That means it will be bold. Font weight is bold. Title font weight is bold. Okay, you can see it is thicker. You can see it is thicker. And I want some space below. Then usually we give, already I told you, we have margin bottom 10 pixels. That means below some space will come. Some space below. It will come with some space. Now what we have to do is, under this title, so many divs are there. For every div, inside title, under title, every div, you have to give some space below every div. Then what we will do is, again if I write like this, div, it will apply to all. I have to apply only to all the elements inside that container. That means, for example, so this title is there. Beside the title we have divs. I am writing like this. Dot title and space div. I am using margin bottom as 20 pixels. Like this I am giving. This is nothing but actually it is applying to only one div. Later you will learn about so many techniques actually. I will use a symbol like some tilde or something like this. It will apply like this. This tilde symbol indicates that apply the effect to all divs under this title. If I give space, it will apply only to the divs which are inside title. They are not inside title, they are below title. Then below title, you have to use tilde symbol. This indicates that every div which is below this title, it will apply margin this. I will keep margin as 10. Then you can see some space is adjusted for them. The space is adjusted. Depending on your requirement, you can keep the width and height and configure that. Now the space, you have some space between them. That's how we configure. Now, I hope similarly we can design main. So mail as a, right. You have another option here that is mail us. Mail us. This is also a title. That means we have to put a class. What is it? Title. This is also class. What is it? Title. And they will have highlight separate. And under that you can put some content. Under that you can add some content. So suppose I am adding content. So a div, and I am giving here some info at Flipkart dot in, like this I defined, and you can see some date. Write some mail us. Now we want some address related information here. That means I will copy that. That means this is address related information. I will just temporarily copy, because you will learn later how do we present in other ways. Now below this again we will put a div. In that all the address I am keeping. But this is not the right way actually, because all will come side by side only. Everything will come side by side only. We will discuss later how do we keep in a block style. Addresses separately you can design. I will tell you later. As of now, our main concentration is divided into how many columns. So the footer we have achieved. So what is the footer having? The main division is having how many columns? 2 columns. Main division is having the 2 columns. And inside left panel again 4 columns. Right panel again 2 columns. Right now you can see here, this is the right panel. Right panel left side some line may be there. Right, actually this is the right panel. Go to the styles. You have right panel. For right panel we can give here as, so usually we give border left border. Suppose I am giving 2 pixel size, and I will give solid border. You can use dotted border, line, dash border, solid border. Which color? Some gray, or say we will put as white. That means the left border will come like this. We can add some left border. And similarly, this right panel should have, so because we are keeping the border, padding also should be there na? That means we will just give padding. Padding for right panel I will give as some 20 pixels. That means some padding will be there, it will be fine. Padding should be only left. That means we will use padding what? Left. It will be only left side space will come. Understood? That means we are using a border left and we are achieving this. So border left, actually I given solid. I can give dotted border. You can see dotted border will come like this. There are so many border styles you will learn later. As of now, don't try anything extra other than what we learned. And these options are not complex. In styles, we used 2 techniques. One is we learned how to use element name. Another one we used a class name. Element name, how you written? Element name we written as header. So suppose if it is footer, we have to write as footer. If it is div, we have to write as div. Class name, how you define? Suppose there is a div, we can use the word class, some title. How to access the class? By using dot, and we have to add effects. What effects you learned here? Nothing special. You learned a display effect which can put as grid. Grid have options called grid template what? Columns. How many fractions you can divide? 12 fractions you can divide. We learned about padding. We learned about margin. We learned about font weight. We learned about background color. We learned about color. Understood? If you want to change the character appearance, you can say font family. You can say font family like Arial, Times New Roman, like that. Different font names will be there. We can try. I will later tell you the font names. Actually, you see here, our entire footer, I am giving font family. Font family Arial I am writing. And you can see the character appearance will change. The character appearance will be little different now. That is Arial. This is the Arial font family. By default, it is Times New Roman. It is Times New Roman. And we are applying this. This is that font. And very important, as I already showed you, actually, observe carefully now. As I already told you that to make it responsive, lot of things are required. In a mobile simulator, when I am accessing this on a mobile simulator, you can access on a mobile simulator. You can see the footer looks like this now. It looks compact now, right? Now what we do is, later you will learn that what we do is, when we are making this kind of content visible on mobile like screens, we can change from 4 columns to 2 columns. We can change from 4 columns to 1 column, depending on device. If he is watching on mobile, we will put in 1 column. If he is watching on desktop, we will put in 4 columns. If watching portrait, we will put 1 column. He rotates the mobile, we will put 4 columns. We can change like that. That later you will learn how to create such things. As of now, it looks shrinked because we haven't applied those effects. If we can apply those effects, then according to your rotation, automatically the number of columns also can change. That is later, we will see later. As of now, it is good designed for what? Landscape. When it goes to portrait, we can give a complete different appearance for that. Different appearance that you will see later how to handle that. This is one simple example of designing a footer. And for that, we are adding some styles. So I hope all these are very easy to understand. Display, background, colors, padding. And why to use fractions, not pixels, I told you. Always better go with what? Fractions. What is this tilde symbol meaning? It means that all the divs that comes under that title. All the divs that comes under title. If I directly write title, it will work only for title. I write div, it will work only for div. Under the title, divs. Then we have to use the tilde. Right? Then it will be perfect. So these are all the options. And here we used all divs only. By using footer, we created this. Now I hope by seeing this, now you can design Amazon like footer. You can design this, this part only, okay? Or you see the website like Netflix. We have Netflix now. You try this Netflix footer, this type of footer. It's very easy, right? So this type of footer is very easy. This is having only 4 columns of data actually, right? You try to design Amazon, Netflix like footer, right? Now, once you are good with footer, now we will see some header designs. Header means top. In the top, how we design banners and everything, how we can keep icons and navigations, how we design, we will see headers. That we will see tomorrow. Today you have to practice this. Okay. I hope everything is clear, right? Then you have to do this. Try other website footers. Then we will tomorrow discuss how to design header. Then section, then main, then other options will come one by one. Okay. Right. Today we learned only one thing. What is footer and what is div and span. Span we haven't used. Later we will go use that. Today we used only footer and divs. Tomorrow we will see the other. Okay. Right. Classroom code, if anyone is not having classroom code, you can note this. It is our Google Classroom code. Tomorrow onwards, we will change the classroom code. But till that moment, this is our classroom code. You have to log into Google Classroom and this is the code. Here you will get all the classroom related notes and everything. That is the Google Classroom code. Mostly by tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will change after the registers, right? Yeah. Tomorrow we'll continue then, huh? Right. In this classroom, we will